If you can't have expression, you're not going to you're not going to feel confident in yourself because your voice is not being used, your story's not being told. If you're not feeling confident or you're not expressing yourself, you're not going to be able to socially connect with anyone in the room because you don't feel comfortable.
True.
And also, you're not going to have a fun time. You're not going to enjoy
Yeah.
yourself because you need those things. So expression is your first thing. So to create expression, a space to express or to share your needs, not even like expressing your emotions, like just like factual, functional things.
Present.
If you can't even do that, bro, safe space, start with a safe space. Ask people how people they are, how people they are, how people are.
How people are.
I think I've just drifted off there. I don't know.
It's fine.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Chai with Rai. To all of the returning listeners and to all of the new listeners, I hope you're having a swell day, a swell evening, a swell night, just a swell time. Chai with Rai is a show I like to call my digital jukebox of hidden gems in which I reach out to working creatives in the entertainment and fitness industry. In the episodes, we discuss all things from life lessons to politics to socialism, culture, history, the digital space, and of course the industry itself. Now, just a little backstory of the show. Chai with Rai is a pre-recorded live show which I transfer to podcast. So to watch any of the videos of the show, simply go to YouTube and just type in Chai with Rai to find the relevant episode. You can also find the information on the episode itself or the guest in the bio or the description of the podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and share the podcast. Your support really helps the show and the message of it grow. Also, make sure to follow the amazing people that are on the show and give them some love. But without further ado, let's get into today's episode. Today on the show, we have dancer, teacher, choreographer, and an inclusive dance wellbeing practitioner, Priyanka Chauhan. Now, Priyanka and I met on the set of The Eternals, which we filmed, I want to say in 2018, maybe 2017 or 2019, one of those years. And then we also worked on a project that I assisted and choreographed in last year called What's Love Got to Do With It, starring Emma Watson, Lily James, and Shazad Latif. And she was just beautiful, and it was just so wonderful to connect with her and do some dancing because we met through the world of Bollywood, even though we've done like work outside and done like R&D experimental work on different styles and different choreographies. And last year when I was going through some stuff, I reached out to her about the dance industry and she gave me some really good advice, which she actually lives her life by. When you know you have a path, you have a direction, you basically don't take bullshit on. I'm paraphrasing a lot of that, but that is what she said to me, and I'm very grateful for that. But I'm just gonna get into the interview because I was really intrigued to get to know Priyanka's facilitation work that she does, because she has a real passion for arts inclusion in the community, and she works as a facilitator, producer, teacher, and more with projects such as domestic abuse prevention. And she led and co-designed and delivered professional training days to educate housing, police, school, and council staff on best practice for dealing with culturally sensitive domestic violence issues such as forced marriage, honor-based violence, and female genital mutilation. She also works for marginalised groups such as refugees, autistic young people, older people with dementia, people with Parkinson's, and so much more. So I really wanted to get into how you safeguard yourself and the people around you, and she gives some really great thoughts on that, some really great views on that. She also, by the way, if you want to meet her and you're in London, she teaches on Mondays semi-classical for the Bollywood Co at Pineapple, and I believe she also teaches an introduction course to Indian dancing at Bombay Dance. So we also get into dancing, teaching, choreographing, and all those wonderful things. But without further ado, oh, by the way, I forgot to mention she also is with Pagrav Dance. If you don't know who that is, get into it. But let's get our cuppas ready and let's dive into today's episode.
We're gonna get into the show. Before we get into anything, we have a warm-up game, and I do this with everybody. Okay, are you ready? The game is called 5 seconds rule. I'm gonna take this off because I'm burning up. Okay, 5 seconds rule. I'm gonna ask you 3 things, okay, and you have 5 seconds to name them. Okay, each different category. 5 questions as well. All right, are you ready? First question. This is where the adrenaline comes in. Name 3 ways of saying I am hungry. Go!
Bhook lagi chair. Give me food. Food. Now. Just grunt at someone.
Bhook lagi che. We're going to explain some Gujarati through this, by the way. But you say you don't know that much Gujarati. And
I know what I'm hungry means. I don't say that. That's key thing.
Okay, we're gonna learn some more. All right, sing 3 songs with the word "ladki" in it. Go.
Lucky, hi Allah, hi there, Allah, that one.
You're out, but I just want to let you.
Ah, I had them in my head. I just couldn't
I was
express.
thinking, there's so many songs. I was gonna be "ladki aur pyar."
Lucky, Birdie, Anjani. That's what I mean. That one.
All right.
That's it. Yeah.
Last 2 questions. 3 things we would find in your closet. Go.
A jumper, leggings, and socks.
Okay. Stop.
Comfort first over everything.
Last questions. Okay. Why did I say questions? It's question. Name 3 movies you would like to star in, past or present. Okay, go.
Wonder Woman. That's too hard. That's too hard. Gosh. I need time to ponder. Menepyatia. Can I still answer? That's the Salman Khan and that lady. I'd love to.
Oh, yeah. That is true.
And that's it.
That's it. How are
Oh,
you?
oops. I've done something weird. Sorry.
It's okay. How are you? How's your life? How's life going? How was your day? What have you been up to? How's the weather? Bipolar syndrome treating you today because it's been like raining and
Yeah, it's been mad. Today was cold and rainy. Yesterday was warm and rainy. So there's a lot of bipolar going on there. But it's been a busy day, and I feel like my brain is a bit like zzz, so I'm scared that I'm not going to answer your questions correctly. But it's been a busy day, but it's good to be busy, right?
That is true.
Yeah.
And what were
No,
you
it's good.
doing that you've been so busy now? Like, I can't even get 2 minutes with Priyanka anymore. Like, what happened?
Well, today was a Union Chapel day
Okay.
in the morning, and
Okay.
then it was a Mumbai day, and then it was a come home, quickly eat, get changed, and talk to a ride day.
Okay.
So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So do, and because I'm leaving Union Chapel soon, so it's like a handover section. So you know when you're like busy at
Got
the
it.
end of a rock.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of that. But yeah, all
Sure.
good.
I want to discuss something quickly, and we'll go into like the deep conversations that we're gonna go into that I sent you. We have a common passion that I didn't know about, which is our hair. We love changing our hair.
Yeah, okay.
I didn't realize this. Which one do you prefer? What styles do you prefer? And why so short now?
Short and long. I'm a bit of an extremist, really. I shouldn't use that word, but I'm a bit of an extreme person.
Yeah.
I like it long, like long
Yeah.
down to my arse long, or short. And when it gets to that middle phase, I feel very confused about my life and my being, and it just makes me feel off, and I don't like it.
Oh,
So I just prefer to be like short, and I actually feel like short hair makes me feel happier. I don't know why. It just feels like
really?
there's more like freedom with it. Yeah, it's like if I've got
Yeah.
long hair, I'm always like, oh, look at me with my long, beautiful hair. Not that's a bad thing, it's a beautiful thing. But it just makes me feel a certain type of way, and I'm like, let me just cut it off and see what I act like. I act a bit more like playful, I think, which is
Fair
nice.
enough.
Yeah.
And how's the class going? Your Monday class? By the way, for those of you who do not know, I said this already. Priyanka now teaches Bollywood Co. semi-classical at Pineapple Monday 7 to 8.
7 p.m. Yeah,
7
that's
p.m.
it. Monday, 7 p.m. Yeah.
Online and in-house, by the way.
Online and in-house, and you can book by the Pineapple app way in advance,
Yeah.
so please do join. Yeah, they're going well. It's different because we used to do courses, and now it's a drop-in. So to try and teach kind of, because I'm heavy on the like foundational technique and all that kind of stuff, but with a course you can give more of that, and people know you and they come back, and there's a course and there's more of that vibe, and in a drop-in it's a very different setting. But a lot of the people that we've had are people that have come back, and even if they're newbies, I still try and add as much of that in, but through the routine of that day instead of doing it over a 5-week thing. So I'm just shifting in the way that I do that. But it's good. It's been a nice it's been fun. It's been nice. It's nice to shift up, mix it up as well. So
I always wonder this when someone teaches. How is life versus courses versus daily drop-ins, or weekly drop-ins versus just doing a one-off workshops? Which one pleases you more as a teacher, without pissing off people and not saying to come to the Monday class?
I think when I get to spend time with people for longer periods of time, that's always better.
Oh,
right?
she's going political. She's going political.
No, but so what I'm saying by that is you come to every week drop-in and you get everything for even longer. No, it's true. Like the more people come back, the better it is, regardless if you're doing a drop-in, if you're doing a one-off workshop with a teacher, if you're doing anything. Like the more you practice, the more you go to a class, the better you're gonna get. It's just fact. The more you do something, the better you practice. The more you practice, the better you are, right? So that's why courses force people to practice. But then drop-ins, you can also choose that. And actually, with the drop-ins, you've got every week, like 5-week courses. They come and they end, and then we get new. And 5 weeks is super short as well. So people come back for the next course because they know they're going to continue that. So really, it's the student's choice, isn't it? Really, what they want to do. And also, I've got love for a workshop. I really do. I just love a good in and out workshop because people come and they experience something. Usually, if you're an audience member for a workshop, it's not that you're coming there to learn and become a dancer or kind of learn in that heavy way. You're just like, let me experience this, and I like that kind of energy. It's more like it's fun. So.
How do you think it's changed to where you are today to versus when you not started, but when you first had your first paid job as a creative? And what was your first job as a creative? Because you studied psychology and then you went into a whole different realm.
I did, yeah, some shit. Yeah. I don't even know if I can tell you my first gig. Like, I don't even know if I remember it. It's most likely going to be a wedding somewhere or a birthday party.
With the Bollywood.
Yeah, legit. Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Okay.
And yeah, so the journey really has been me finding what I actually like to do in dance. Because back then I was just really excited to just be in a space with dancers and actually get to dance. And oh my gosh, this is a miracle. Like, how is this even happening to me? That's where I was at for a very long time. And then I had to be like, oh, you're here. Okay, so what do you want to do with this now? What do you really like? And I kind of knew all those things, but because it felt like that was never a world or an option for me, I just stuck with what I was offered. But then as you develop your skills, you're like, hold on a minute, I can do this and I'm going to do that. And then it became, what do I want to do and how do I do that? That whole shifted to this dance and well-being thing, which is now really who I am, because I did do psychology at uni, and that I did that for a reason. You know, it wasn't just a willy-nilly kind of, oh, let me just do it for fun. It was, I genuinely do want to work with people and stuff like that. And I thought, how can I build the two? So naturally, it just made sense. So,
do you think your perception has changed at all? You're a little bit wiser and smarter, or do you think you still view the industry from a purist form? What I mean by that, I think like when you come in, you're just like, I just want to dance. I just want to live. I just want to make a little money and like, you know, be happy. So yeah, that's what I mean by that.
Yeah. And you also learn how to make money, because like not a lot of people are paying out here. You get what I'm saying? So you have to be, you learn that. Like initially you are just like, oh my God, is this happening? Like for me, I was like, oh my God, is this happening? Like what? Why am I dancing? Like just I was in that space. But then yes, I definitely have grown, and I think I've realized what I like to do and what I don't like to do, and found my way to say, no, I'm not doing that. No, I don't want to do that. No, I love to teach. And actually, because a lot of things, when people say you're a dancer, like, oh, I perform. When people always ask me, so when was the last time you performed? I'm like, it's been a while, because my focus is not necessarily on performance. It's more on the kind of the facilitation and the process of dance and the teaching, and obviously working with like the groups that you mentioned earlier. Like that's where, and I still, like, it took me a while to still say that that still makes me a dancer. It doesn't make me a dancer. But for ages, I was like, wait, are you even a dancer if you don't perform? I was like, I don't need to be like everyone else. I know who I am. I know what I love. I know what I like. And you know, I do it in the best way I can. So that takes years. Like that takes years from doing random gigs to, hold on a minute. Yeah. And finding how to get paid and how to make it a living for yourself as well. Like that's the journey, to make it long term, to make it sustainable. Like, yeah.
Let's talk about the inclusion work that you do. I think like I'm very fascinated to discuss 3 perspectives on that. One is I really want to know, I think it's personally because like I come from a domestic violent family. And I think like, I think in a general consensus, please challenge me on this, or if I'm wording it incorrectly, I think like the generation before us, there's a lot of domestic violence. I think in South Asian communities, quite prevalent. And I think it's even prevalent in the movies that we watch, the theater things, and, you know, certain things like so coming from that, I'm really intrigued to know your work that you did on that specific project. The second aspect is what I want to know. Obviously you did psychology, but how do you I think I've gotten to a point now where after working with people who have dementia and working with kids and doing certain things, I can't emotionally do that and then at the same day go perform at a wedding. Like I can't, like I'm too emotionally fragile to be able to take that and then pretend it's okay and like getting turned up at an event or things like that, because that is like, that fucks up your head a little bit. So how do you just deal from a human aspect? And I think it's the same as like when you work as a doctor delivering somebody bad news. How do you function just as a person with topics or with stories that are so
Yeah.
yes, so like that. So I think like let's discuss those two and then we'll go on to things. And also the third was going to be like not only working with domestic violence but working with like people with dementia, autism, cancer, and so many things. And how did you get into that space? Like what was it that inclined you to that? So yeah, those are the three aspects.
What should I start with?
Start with the domestic violence.
Okay, so the domestic violence one was, that was on my first job, like a first job. And actually I'm gonna kind of not skip it, because I've got more interesting thing around the domestic violence, same topic, but recently.
Yeah.
So when I started that job, I was super young, super passionate, and I was the kind of prevention, I don't know, I keep doing this, excuse me. I was the prevention lead for an organization. And it was great. Like, well, I say it was great. It was a prevention, raising awareness of DV, domestic violence, and all the kind of like red flags. And also, when I started, it was very much, these are the stats. And it was all very sad, negative. And I said, hold on a minute, this is not how we want to prevent stuff. We want to talk about how do you have healthy relationships? What are red flags? How do we communicate clearly? What is aggressive behavior? What is passive aggressive behavior? How do we set boundaries? All of those things to maintain healthy relationships for ourselves is what will allow us to say, hold on a minute, you're being a bit, I'm going to try my best to step away, and then know that there are places that will support you to step away, or how to have that conversation with a friend, or, just know those things, like just have an awareness of those things will transform everything. And also knowing how to ask the right questions. So teaching young people to say, oh, she's struggling right now, or I've noticed that person has changed when she's with that person, or just something, and how to be there for that person, or how to ask the right questions and to offer support in the right way. So instead of saying this many women have died, it's like, bro, that's too much. Like, you go home traumatized. That's why I started it. I'm like, no, this is not working. This is not healthy. It's not helping me. It's not helping them. What are we actually gaining from this, right? So it became a lot of that. Then it turned into confidence building workshops for survivors and stuff like that, which was all really good. But saying that, I was like 22. And similarly had personal links to stuff. And so I was triggering myself left, right, and center in that job. I was way too young working with people, but because I had the passion and I had the empathic understanding, people saw it, and I think people intuitively know that person's cool. She hears me. I'm not just here like, everybody feel good about you. No, I hear you. We're going to work. Yeah. And that, because it was heavy for me as well. So I had to go out of that role and sort my own stuff out. Fast forward a few years, so that's actually how I got into dance. So then I left that job and I thought, you know what, I'm going to dance more. And then I danced more, and I realized actually, if I can use dance as a well-being tool, it's the same thing. It's a prevention thing, right? Even though it doesn't seem it, because you just think you're dancing around, but actually there's so much more in dance, and I can go into that, but I won't do that.
No, please touch on it.
Like, so it's linked. So like, obviously doing that whole prevention work, my goal is to build communication skills and to get people more comfortable with each other and to have those conversations and to build a social network. Whereas if you are, for example, if you are struggling, you've got people you can talk to, you know how to express yourself, all of those things. And also, if you're going through a crap time, dance gives you joy. Like, simple, plain and simple. I don't even need to go into science and this and da. It's a good thing for your physicality. Your endorphins are going to be like boop, boop, boop. Like, you're going to feel good. You're going to be making eye contact with people. You're going to feel good about yourself, right? And already we know if your body's in a state of relaxation, you can better heal, you can better talk. You're just more accessible to people. You're just oof. You just lessen that. And if you're always like this, then you're not. Like, let's give people that don't have the chance to do that. Let me go run a dance workshop at a refuge centre, or just round down the road. Who knows who I'm going to get in that room? But if that woman comes to me, I know what to do. Or if that guy comes to me, I know what to do. So for me, it's very political. It's come from DV to dance, and it didn't for me. People always, it feels like a massive jump where you've left psychology and you now do dance. And I'm like, nah, it's actually in my head, it's the same journey. Yeah, it's the same journey. So that's the kind of thing. That's how it opened up time for me to dance. And then fast forward that, because I have this kind of niche way of doing the domestic violence stuff and the art stuff, I worked with Jackson's Lane Theatre, which you mentioned earlier. They are an amazing organisation. They go for a refurb at the moment, so that you can't really go there, but I would recommend going there in North London. And I did a project called Women Rise, which is all about domestic violence, but for older women specifically. So we always think that older women aren't going through nothing, when we all know that older women are still living their lives, so they still have lives and still go through stuff, and also could have gone through it historically and still dealing with the trauma. It doesn't just leave you. If you go through these experiences, it's not just like, ta-da, I'm out of it and I'm good. You know, there's things to be dealt with, and, you know, you can still get support. And we use drama. We use interactive drama tools we toured it around community centres. And it was an interactive drama play where the audience would get up and kind of just take part in different roles and talk about the situation without talking about the situation. It was great. It was funny. It was lovely. All of those things. But we still had, by the end of it, we had counsellors in the room. We had all of these people in the room to support the situation, flyers, all that kind of stuff. So it was a way of giving knowledge, but in a more accessible way, instead of just shouting out horrible things, but now using drama. And to the point where the NHS took us up and we started training the NHS staff on how to recognise signs of DV, how to talk to someone that's come into your medical practice and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm really proud about that. The NHS came and was like, come on, let's do it. I was like, wow, we did that? It's good, it's a good feeling.
I really want to know, which is, one, have you ever had an interaction or something where you have had it, like somebody might have come to you after a session, or, you know, they were like, their story might just have affected you to a point where, yes, you were there, but then you need to step out. And without going into too much detail, like, how did you deal with that? And how do you continue to do what you're doing with again, like, it's take DV away. Like, there's autism. Now, I know teachers are trained to, like, pick up on things like Asperger's and autism, and they're trained on how to even pick up, like, if a kid comes into a school and his uniform is, like, you know, 3 days in a row tattered or things like that, that's a sign, and certain things like that, or even eye contact. Like, how do you stop micro-analyzing certain things and also go to the perspective of, like, that is also just human. You're also meant to have, like, you know, slow progression as opposed to labeling it as something else with young kids?
It's a hard question because I don't do the labeling stuff. I'll go into a group like, this group is da 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 da, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll work with that. And at the end of the day, usually the groups are so varied. So yeah, I don't come with I don't overanalyze. I feel like I don't overanalyze. And maybe it's because I've seen such variety. So for example, when you say dementia groups, like, that can be super able and boom, 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 sat down, you know. So for me, as long as I'm aware that in a room I'm going to get everyone and I can make sure that everyone feels included, that's what the goal is, right? So yeah, like, I kind of leave that at the door and let whoever is organizing the group deal with that kind of stuff. So then that comes into the whole, obviously, safeguarding stuff. So if someone has come to you, and I think because you get trained for that, right? You get trained to how to deal with someone that's sharing something with you. The whole thing about take them to a safe space, make sure no one else is listening. Obviously, don't ask leading questions. Let them just talk, but also know that it's not, because, for example, for me, this is relevant, but also kind of not relevant. No, it's relevant. It's not about taking on that responsibility to that I'm going to save this person. It's never that, right? It's always just we're trying to support this person in the best way that we can. Like, I remember when I first started, when I was really young, and I started mentoring people and stuff like that. At that time, I used to do that. I used to take on it, and I was like, oh, I need to save everyone, and I want to be that girl, because I was so emotionally connected to that. And that's kind of why we get into the work. Well, kind of get into that work, but it's also very unhealthy, not only for them but for yourself, because the boundaries aren't there, right? You need to have a contained space where people can share and also be supported, and also for your own mental health, and not get into everybody's life, because we can't save no one, right? I can't save no one. I can create safe spaces. I can support them in the best way that I can. We can try and be those people to support, but at the end of the day, I can't, and I have to make sure I don't take that on. Like, I remember the counselor I was working with when I was super young, he was saying to me, when I was going through, oh my God. He was like, just remember this, when you walk into a space and you're talking to someone or you're mentoring someone, you're okay, he's okay, and it's all going to be okay. And I was like, that really just calmed me down. I was like, he's good, yeah, he's going to be all right, he's going to be all right, yeah. And he was like, yeah, you're good, he's good, everything's good. Like, you'll be okay. Like, just use the tools that we have, support each other. Tell me, in safeguarding, you tell everyone, like, well, not everyone, but you tell the right people to make sure that everyone knows what's going on, and like in the safest way possible. Like, there's procedures and there's protocols in place so that we don't go crazy and that we don't mollycoddle and become unhealthy, in that relationship with them. Boundaries, man. Boundaries are beautiful things. It's not even that. Like, it's similar to the whole thing about, you know how when I say, oh, I do the, like, people think that I'm jumping ships, that there's one or the other. Like, to me, it's connected. And even when I do the commercial side of things, like teaching on Monday, pineapple, whatever, like, I feel like people come because they like me. So I feel like people come like because of the privates as well. When I've done privates, I always say to people, why did you choose me? Like, there's plenty of Bollywood dancers or Indian whatever. Like, there's plenty of dancers here. Just out cute, because I always do a sit down before we even dance. I'm sitting down, I'm conversating with people. I'm saying, what's going, like, how's that? What's your goals here, and what's your interest here, and how come you chose me? Like, what are you looking for? Like, really getting into it. And people always say, like, it's because, I've been to Platform, you kind of asked how we were, and like you took interest and like that kind of thing. And for me, it's just a natural way of being, because that's how I do all my work, right? That's how, I don't know, I feel like it's just nice. Like, you just
it's just nice to be nice, people.
It's nice to be nice.
Ask people how you are and actually mean
it's true. Like, you create safe spaces, right? Like, like the Arts Council funding you mentioned earlier. Like, I've been doing all these kind of reflection days with drama therapists, with a speech and language therapist, all of these amazing things. And the amount of times that creating a safe space has come up. And I put it at, we've done it, or when I've done this work for so long now, it's just like, oh yeah, you create, so yeah, it's just like, it just happens naturally. You don't even think about it. But then now going back into it, and I'm thinking, whoa, if you don't have a safe space where people feel comfortable to even talk to you, how are they going to move? How are they going to express? Like, how are they going to trust you as a teacher? And especially when you're working with, not even especially with anyone, every group. Like, if there's not a safe space, you can't have expression. If you can't have expression, you're not going to feel confident in yourself, because your voice is not being used, your story's not being told. If you're not feeling confident or you're not expressing yourself, you're not going to be able to socially connect with anyone in the room because you don't feel comfortable.
True.
And also, you're not going to have a fun time. You're not going to enjoy yourself, because you need those things. So expression is your first thing. So to create expression, a space to express or to share your needs, not even like expressing your emotions, like just like factual, functional things.
Present.
If you can't even do that, bro. Safe space. Start with a safe space. Ask people how people they are. How people are. And
How people are.
I think I've just drifted off there. I don't know.
It's fine. It's so fine. We'll move on now, and we'll discuss to a little bit of Kathak and a little bit of performing. And to your quoted term that you always say, I watched 3 situations of yours, your live with Mandeep, an interview you did, and your website. And this quote just seems to follow you. And do you know what I'm going to say? I think it should be your tagline. Kathak is not for you. You are for Kathak.
It's a good quote. It's a good quote. It's sick. I love it.
Firstly, for people who don't know, tell them perspective of it, and a quick little intro into how you got into Kathak and why you didn't choose Bharatanatyam or Odissi or Manipuri or any of the other.
Oh gosh, I'm going to say something shocking. I said it in class today. Everyone was shocked. I swear. I think if I saw Odyssey before I saw Kathak, I love some
still
Odyssey.
Can. Can I say you still can? There's nothing
I
stopping
can.
you. There's nothing
You know,
stopping.
I need to find me a teacher. I need to find me a teacher.
Do it.
Yes,
I'm doing.
I will. You're right. Yeah, it's true.
Do it in India. Do it in India. Like, I'm doing Bharatanatyam in India right now through Zoom.
That's true. That's so true. I like that. Yes, exciting. Okay, so the question, Kathak is not, I forgot the quote.
Tell your tagline to people.
Kathak is not being you. So basically, that's from Kumudini Lakyaji. So for those of you that know, yeah, lovely. So from Kumi, I say Kumi Ben, even though, Kumi, I don't know how to, but Kumudini Lakyaji, so Uja Didi, which is my teacher, it's her Guruji. and I was in India in a cab for literally with her for 3 minutes in a cab, and obviously getting that one-to-one chatting. And I don't know how the conversation got there or what was happening, or I don't even know. And she just said, Kathak is not for you, or whatever the quote is.
It's your quote.
That quote, she said that, and it just blew my head off, like legit blew my head off, because I think at that time as well, like, and still to this day, but less so now because of that quote, I was very much like wanting to be everybody else's dancer. Like, I still hadn't found my voice, I still hadn't like worked out who I was. I still, wasn't going ham on the dance and well-being thing. I just didn't know who I was, and I wanted to be like them. I wish I had trained when I was 2, and I was angry that I didn't train from 2, and I didn't have a family in the arts, and I was really pissed off, and I just calm down, bro. Like, I get to use dance for me. I don't have to be like them. Like, Kathak is not for you, you are for Kathak, right? No. Whatever, like, what's the thing? Can you say it one more time?
Priyanka, it's your quote. Kathak is not for you, you are for Kathak.
Kathak is not for you, you are for Kathak. Because then it's like, Kathak is not for you. Hold on a minute. It's your journey, it's your process. Stop it. It's your process. Like, it just blew my mind.
It's still blowing your mind. I can see it. I can see that conversation in that rickshaw right now.
Literally.
No. I was just gonna talk about Kathak training. How do you feel in it? How is it? Is it like ballet training? You go in the morning, you take classes, or like, and how did it feel to go from Bollywood into Kathak? Was it what you expected it to be, or is it completely different? And then we're going to get onto your relationship. And also, have you done your, oh my God, I always get the Bharatanatyam one. What's the Kathak version of Arangetam?
The Rangmanch
That's
Pravesh.
it. Yeah. No.
I don't think I ever will. I don't know, just...
Too much theory.
I don't know. No, I do my exams. Like, I do my STD exams, which has all the theory and all that kind of stuff. But I've not seen a Rangmanch in a while. Well, I saw... So, Sham Datani, I think he did his Rangmanch, but then it was almost like a solo piece, and it was a different vibe to a I don't know the history on politics behind Rangmanch, but it's unlikely that I'll do one. But that doesn't mean I'm not going to dance forever. I still dance, but so how did I shift from Bolly to... So basically, I wouldn't have found Kathak. I wouldn't have found... I genuinely, like, people, when I tell this story, people are like, wait, what? I genuinely wouldn't even know what Kathak was if it wasn't for Bollywood. So, like, for me, it wasn't like, I'm jumping, or again, it never feels like a jump to me. It just feels like a natural progression. Like, so it didn't feel too jumpy, just felt like this is what I want to do. And so I'll tell you the story. Tell me if I'm talking too much. When I was, so I'll be watching certain Bollywood films, right? Like, naturally just watching them, right? And I'm looking at songs, I'm like, hold on a minute. I really like that move that she's done there. Oh, I really like that costume that she's wearing. Yeah, or I really like this thing. And then I'm like, oh, wow. And then I'll see the same things happen in another song, in another film. And she's wearing a similar outfit. I'm like, hold on a minute. Oh. And then it would happen again. And it would happen again. I'm like, there's a theme here. There must be something that's connecting these people together. And then I started to notice that certain people do this thing at the same time, and just started Googling and researching it. And then I was like, hold on a minute. This thing called Kathak. Oh, wow, what's this thing called Kathak? And then slowly, then I was like, okay, you can train. Oh, okay, you can train in it. Oh, okay, cool. Like, it was legit just that. And I remember going to Bhavan, when my Guruji there, and I was asking, why should I learn from you? Because I didn't know, like, the kind of respect, literally. I didn't know that it was that world as well, that, your Guruji, this lineage. I had no, literally nothing. But then I kind of like that, because I came to him, I was like, boom, let's learn. I'm excited, and I was learning because I was just genuinely there, because to me, it's a beautiful style. Like, and that's still how I kind of approach it today. That's why when I'm dancing with all these amazing dancers around me, I'm like, whoa, like, I get to be here, like, it's just still, so for me, it wasn't like I'm expecting this, and it's obviously it was a massive jump, because you're literally there all the damn time and learning all the time. There's so much to learn. Your brain is just constantly in there. Like, you become part of this world. Like, it's been amazing. Like, I love it. Like, I absolutely love it. I love having that home and having that kind of dedication and space, and something that has become my foundation. Even though I started late, I feel like it is where I come from. Like, it's there, and I love it. So yeah.
At what point do you think now that you have done the not done the training, are doing that training? At what point do you think you can legitimately say that you are a Kathak dancer? Do you think it's after the graduation period, or do you think it's?
Honestly, I genuinely don't know. Like, I really don't know. And also because I still, even though obviously other people say it for me, and my teachers even like, Priyanka, just what the hell? Why do you talk like this in such a way that you're like, you're not? Because I'm so aware that I started at 22, 23.
Yeah.
I'm a grown ass person. I learned with 5-year-olds for a good amount of time. Like,
Yeah,
and I have no
nothing wrong
shame
with that.
Yeah, I have no shame with that, literally none. But that's when I'm aware of like, you know, these, like, I think I'm so humbled by it all and just in awe of it all that I wouldn't be like, yes, I'm a high, like, never, but also have to recognize that Priyanka, I've been training like for so long now with these people, and the teachers have allowed me to enter spaces to perform with these guys and to learn with these guys. So clearly they wouldn't just let me in just because, you know, and I hear my friends in my head saying those things to me, friends, stop it. Like, you can't keep putting yourself down and not presenting yourself. Because sometimes people present without having the backing, but I might have trained and stuff like that, but then I'm like, no. So I won't even put myself in those spaces. But as long as I'm coming in those spaces, open book and saying, I'm training. If you want to learn Kathak, I've got you a hookup. Like, go to Pagrav, go to, you know, it's know what I'm doing and what I can offer and know my limitations. And if I'm transparent about it, then I don't think there's an issue with it. But yeah, like, it's such a, even to the point where like maybe last year I called myself a dancer. Like, it's been so long. Like, it's such a hard thing for me. Even right now, I was like, oh, can I even say it out loud in public? Like, it's so weird for me. But,
that brings me on to the question of your relationship with dance in general. Why is it that now that you can call yourself a dancer, but why was it before that you weren't calling yourself one? And also, how is your relationship with dance today? Because we discussed, if you don't mind me saying, in regards to the late start and certain other aspects.
Yeah, so how is it today? How's my relationship? One question I don't the process is slow. How is my relationship with it? There's a question before that. Okay.
You just go with that.
Okay. I honestly feel like it's much better. And I think that's because I've owned certain parts of me. Yeah, I just think it's better way better than it was before. Like, before I was pretending. Whereas now I feel like, you know what, Priyanka, it's been long enough. I still do the whole, I'm not, you know, go. I still, even today, someone asked me, are you trained? And I was like, I would dance in my bedroom. Like, I just froze. I didn't know what to say. I was like, no, not really. Like, you know, not, because I just felt like, woo. So I just, even today I froze. But I'm better. It didn't, that usually would stick in my head, the fact that I didn't say the right thing, or didn't say that I do this, and I didn't, you know, it kind of was like, maybe you're right. Like, it's hard to say what you've done, and people don't understand. Like, when it's, I do an inclusive dance, they're, wait, what's that? Like, you know, they do that. They don't make that face, but it's hard to like completely share what I do fully.
Yeah.
But I'm more comfortable with it, and I think as I've been more vocal about it and just forced my voice to be a bit like, no, this is what I do, and this is why I love what I do, and this is why it's important to me and the work that I do. And the more I do that with my friends and my family, literally I have to stop close, then I can do it more publicly. And actually social media has helped me do that, because it's given me a platform to just be like, just make noise, even though you're nervous about it, just share that you do that. Oh gosh, how's it gonna go? It's like a space to be like, no, be confident in who you are, what you do. And then actually, as I've gone on and I'm realizing I'm working in more spaces, and when I go to these spaces and they value what I do, and actually I'm like, hold on, you're not chatting crap here. People like what you do. And the arts council is going to give you money, huh? So there must be something that's working here, like, you know. So then it's like, it's almost like stopping your own insecurities from making you not see what you're doing. You know, when you never see what you do until someone says it to you. You know, you don't see your beauty until someone says, oh, you look good. And you're like, do I? Well, my hair's messy. You know, like, that, there's a bit of that going on.
How do you get over that point? Is it just time, or is it self-reflection, journal, like meditating? What is it for you? All of that, time and work. You got to stay working. The more you go to clock, like, I remember moments of legit. It's deep now. And I remember moments like before going into Kathak class, I would just be crying for no reason. I would have traveled, and I've traveled an hour and a half on a weekend every flipping Saturday 9 a.m. and used to be Sundays, because I live in East. The class is always in West.
And I remember just getting there, just being like just walking in, like just thinking, oh gosh, I'm crying, right? Just because I felt like I don't have a space there. That's not my space. I can't dance. That what am I doing? I'm being an idiot. All of those things were in my head. And then I'll go there and I'll have the greatest time. But then sometimes before I used to really struggle because it would be in my head and I couldn't move. And you know, and the teachers noticed that, Priyanka, what's going on? Like, why are you stiff? Or like, you know, why are you? It's because your head is saying, you get out of this class right now. Why are you here? They're gonna know that you're crap. Like, get out. All those insecurities come in. And actually, it's been a while since that happened to me. So I know that I've gotten better because I stayed training. I stayed going to those classes. And sometimes videos help. So sometimes I'll be watching a video and I'm like, wait, that's me. They said, oh, I don't look like a crazy, but like, you know, I look like I can fit into this group, you know. And then also then with the group that I'm with and the teachers that I'm around, like, they don't let me just walk out. They just what's wrong with you? Stay here. Like, no, you can do this, learn it like this. You know, that kind of thing, friends and family, and like just me and my own, like, I want to dance. I am going to learn how to dance. I'm going to make it happen. Like that kind of work, like this, the more you just stay working. I think that's why forever you just have to be in learning mode, like, and that gives you the confidence, and people will recognize that you put the work in, and then all the other opportunities will just naturally just appear, and you're like, hold on a minute, I must be doing something right. Like, yeah, so it's that work and time.
Survival as a freelancer. Talk about the reality of a freelance dance artist.
Yeah,
from like funding to like creating work to working in the Bollywood space, or like to working in talk about that.
So for me, I think I have, like, obviously for me, because I do the community arts producing stuff, I've always had that as a part-time role. So that's kind of been the keeps me afloat, and everything else becomes the other stuff. So then if I'm worried about the freelance stuff not happening, and obviously the part-time thing's still on a freelance basis, but that's the consistent thing that comes in, so it becomes less daunting. Whereas I can imagine if I was a full-time performing artist or teacher or something like that, then whoa, I don't know how it works. Like I can't even, you know. And I think with that you'd be more heavy on the performance. You have to really put yourself forward for auditions and stuff like that, and that's just not a world that I know. Also because I can't pick up quickly, so but that's not a world that I know, and I can imagine that is hard, very hard and daunting. But you know, like, there are people that make it work, but for me, the way that I've made it work is because the community arts fits in my life. I have that side of it as well, and that's become a large part of what I do, and that has taught me so much in terms of the work that I do and how I deliver and stuff like that. So yeah, so I don't think I can answer that in a pure dancey way. Because
but you can answer it from an artistic perspective, from having to do funding applications, which can be quite daunting, but or even just working as a freelancer, because you do work contract to contract.
It's just hard. It's hard, and it's
it's just hard. That's it, you guys.
It's hard and it's tiring, and you know, like I'm not complaining. No, not complaining. But I've been mad busy like recently, and it's been 7 days, 7-day weeks for like the last month and the next couple of months. And today as well, I was feeling like, oh gosh, can I survive? Can I do this? Can I not do this? And it's hard, like, it's not easy. And then also trying to maintain, like, well, I know one of your questions is the personal relationship while you're striving for continuous work. Like, I'm like, I do not have any answer to that. Like, I don't know how to be a normal person and try and do what we do with all the passion that we do it, and all the ideas that we want to share, and then all of these things that we're trying to do. And also be normal. Like, it's hard. And it's hard. Like, I don't know what else to say. It's hard.
I'm always intrigued when people teach and move a specific way, why they continue to, and they experiment, or they don't experiment and things like that. I think I asked you this when we were doing that workshop. Why I was like, why is it that you move so pretty and prim and proper? Like, why not get grimy and gritty, or like throw some shit away and do things like that?
This is just the way that I've been trained, right? Like, that's just the way.
I'm sorry. No, no, I know. It's just you were like, the way I've been trained.
No, it's true. It's the way I've been trained also. We spoke about it last time about that. Like, you're scared to break that, right? Like, I'm scared to break that because like, again, you just said the whole story about not fitting and all the rest of it. You need to match. I need to be perfect. I need to do all of these things. And that becomes part of the way that you move, I guess, right? And even like things like, obviously, I don't know if you've seen it, Audrey Did You Move, but she's proper like
Yeah.
bends and uses so much chest and all that. Like before, I was like, I always get told you dance like a stick. I stop dancing like a stick because like, I want to allow my body to do those things. Whereas now I'm getting better at that. You know, I can do a bit more bends. I'm still not there fully, but like I do a bit more of that, and I can feel how much nicer it is to breathe in your movement. Like, so I get what you're saying in that space, like to break into the movement, to be free in that movement is liberating, but that takes work as well. It's not something that you just come in and like, ta-da, I'm ready for it. Like, I feel like it's a mental thing, it's a physical thing, it's knowing that you're allowed to do those things. Like, there's a lot, there's layers definitely for that.
How do you describe your voice as an overall artist, would you say? And what's your approach to choreography? Because I'm always intrigued in this.
It's weird because this is a weird conversation. With like, am I choreographer? Like, I don't see myself in that way. So I don't create group pieces.
Well, as a teacher, as a facilitator of movement, how about that? As a facilitator of movement.
I think I kind of mentioned the whole thing about I see you. Like, that's just the way that I work. Like, as Uncle Q says, feeling first, intention over everything. Legit, that's really important to me. And the like, you got a good beat, I'm there. Whatever it is, then I can let loose a little bit. You know.
Do you teach in counts or do you teach in like sounds? Do you teach like gaga gaga do da 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 da?
I sing. I try to sing. I can't sing for everyone, but I sing along. I'm like, yeah, 1 and 2, and then sing this. I sing the song because people know the songs, right? So sometimes it helps. They don't need the music. I can slow down the song. I'll sing. Yeah, counts comes when I'm teaching. Teaching. When I'm trying to break it down, that's when the counts. When we practice it now, like I'll sing the song, and yeah, they always laugh at me. But it helps. So I sing. So I'm guessing it's the feeling thing. It's the music, the feeling, intention, and seeing people, like really giving people a safe space to dance and to access dance and enjoy it.
Well, we've got 3 more questions before we move into a little bit of games, and we're going to answer them within 5 minutes. Okay, so I get you nice and cozy, and not me and you in bed, but you in your own bed and me. Okay. We're going to talk about digital space, your thoughts on it, pros and cons. We're going to talk about surviving as an artist and balancing relationship. And also, if you didn't have the support of your bubble, would you be continuing to do what you do? And then the third is my favorite topic, and I feel like we should talk about it, brush up on it, not get ourselves into trouble. How do you deal with the mannerisms and the politics of the industry, South Asian and Bollywood in particular, and still continue to function proactively and not suffer at the consequences of things? I think you can understand my subliminal messagings in there.
Digital spaces means that you reach a wider audience, right? And on that same note of the inclusion and access, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, even though it can obviously excludes a lot of people, what I've noticed is that a lot of organizations are now working with those community groups to say, how do we get you online? How can I set up your tablet so you can access that Zoom? How can I, get those people into a space where they can access online spaces? And actually, that's a good thing, because that means they can then call up people that they maybe haven't called up in a while, or use the internet for certain other things. So actually, I think it's there's secret, hidden, there's good things. Definitely, there's amazing things about your wider audience, international reach, and you're getting people that weren't online before learning how to use online spaces and able to watch dance or do things that they never used to do before. Maybe not come out of the house and been able to do it online. So yeah, in person is beautiful. Obviously, all about that. Okay, so the first one was working on maintaining relationships whilst doing the whole freelance dance thing.
Yeah. So it doesn't need to be just love relationships, but like family and friends. Yeah. How is the boyfriend, by the way?
Oh, he's invisible. I can't yet see him. I'm sure he'll appear one day. I'm waiting.
Imagine if you meet your boyfriend on set.
Maybe. Who knows? I'll tell you the fairy tale when it happens.
Okay.
Like I was saying before, it's hot. I don't even know how to do that stuff. But scheduling, I feel like scheduling has become my best friend in this last month. Like, right, I'm free on a Friday at this time. Who else is free? Let's try and meet up. And also my friends are really like, they get it. Like they know that there's moments when I'm like not doing anything. And I'm like, oh, what's going on here? I'm scared about my life. And then when I get busy, they're like, come on, Pri. This or the last time, you remember, this is good, celebrate it. And they'll know that I'm away for a reason because I'm working and I'm building and that kind of thing. And same with my family, as hard as it is, it's like they get it. Like they do get it. Sometimes they get confused, but the right people get it, and that's what's important. So
most of your family or friends in the industry are not really at all. Like most of your close groups. No.
no.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the second part of that question is if you didn't have all of that, would you still be doing what you're doing today?
I feel like I can kind of, because obviously before, when maybe that support necessarily wasn't there, or like understanding wasn't there, and all that kind of stuff, I remember being like knowing that I want to do certain things, physically feeling the pain of not doing it, but then doing everything else. So I can imagine if I didn't have the support and didn't have all those things, I would intuitively, I'd know this is not who I'm meant to be. But because the situations or my confidence isn't there, or I didn't have people to push me at the right time, or whatever, because I know that I'm not me because of me. I'm me because of me and everybody else around me. Like you're never just there on your own, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I wouldn't be who I am. But maybe 10, 15, 20 extra years on, I've realized and maybe have worked into a way of doing it. You know, might have taken me even longer. But yeah, I wouldn't, but I would know that I need to shift, and that would grate me for many years, and hopefully one day I'd work it out. Yeah.
Cool. And then the last question is the maneuverisms, the politics of the industries, the hierarchy, all of how do you deal with that?
Boundaries, legit.
You might. I think you need to teach me that, because I'm very I wear my heart on my sleeve, and I like to ask a lot of questions. And
I hear you. It's hard. It's hard, and it did actually take some time to like find the right spacing for me, and even what I wanted to do, and being able to share that, and for someone to hear that and receive it. Like it's a journey, but also when you know, like that's why boundaries are so important, because when you know, okay, this is what I'm going to do, this is not what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
And I remember even at the get-go, when I obviously first time met Nalika and stuff like that, I was like, listen, this is not my vibe, I don't like doing this stuff. From the beginning, before I even went to a first class with her rehearsal or anything, and she already knew that, like, I already knew that this is, even before I'd even started my journey in Kathak, I already knew that certain things weren't for me, I wouldn't fit in those spaces, and certain things were, and I feel like, yeah, boundaries, genuinely boundaries, and in that way, like, I can do the job, but also not be, like, owned by the job, if that makes sense, or like, it doesn't hold me. It's like it's part of me, and I'm happy to be there, and that's part of me. And then this is also part of me, and that's also part of me, and this is part of me. So I'm this whole person, and people act as parts of me. Yeah. So you each get sections. This is my boundaries with you. This is my boundary with you.
All right. Well, this brings us to some games now. Are you ready to play some games?
Oh gosh.
These sections of games are divided into specific sections, and the games are called
Sip a chai or play with rye.
The first section of this game situation is if I were. So I will say, like, if you were a color, what would you be? And you'll be like, magenta. I don't know. But that's not your color. Do you know what I mean? Are you ready to play if I were?
I'm going to be really bad at this, I just know it.
No, you have to. This is rapid fire round, okay? If you were a movie, what would be the title of your movie? Go.
Dreams fulfilled.
What would be the title song? 4, 3, 2, 1, sing it.
Dream girl, dream girl.
What would be the hook dance step? Because you know, like every movie now has a hook dance step. 4, 6, 7, 8.
I don't like hooks, so I shall not do a hook. It's a journey. The dance is a journey. We shall not do a hook step.
Are you sure it's not going to have this in there?
No, it shall not have that.
Okay. What would the plot line be?
I want to add animals in it. I thought I'm going to have a chipmunk. And
tell me the plot line. Go.
The plot line is that this chipmunk wants to get the big nut at the top of the mountain. That chipmunk works hard, but it's surrounded by bears, and the bears won't allow the chipmunk to grow. But damn, that chipmunk climbs the mountain and eats that nut, and life is good.
Who would star as the voiceover or the actual animation? Who would
I feel
give me
you could do a chipmunk voice. I feel like you'd suit that.
Okay, thank you. I don't know whether that's a compliment or you're saying that I
It's a
look like a
compliment.
chipmunk.
You're the brave chipmunk. I'm loving it.
If you produce this movie, I'm gonna take this and take you to court because you said
Okay,
that
no,
I would be.
I
No,
would make you
okay,
shit,
cool.
man.
But anybody else starring in this because there's other situations in here?
Nah,
Dream girl,
don't need
dream girl.
don't need no big names. We'll just get the talent. We'll just get the real talent involved.
Okay, cool. All right, if you were a drink, what would you be? Go. The
Chai?
first thing that. Okay,
I,
the
I was
first thing
gonna
that.
say no. I was gonna say chai. Yeah, I was gonna say chai, but I was like, try not to say chai because it's chai with rye and that's cheesy.
It's fine. It's
Chai.
fine, man. If you were a holiday destination, what would you be?
Cuba,
Cool.
rum,
If you
and
if you were a clothing item, what would you be?
a roll neck jumper.
Oh, if you were a food, what would you be?
Chinese.
Fruit.
A peach.
If you were a dessert, what would you be?
Chocolate chip slice cake.
Oh, nice. If you were a plant, what plant you would be?
Cactus.
Oh,
Easy, just
oh,
give me find me, I'm good. And I'll have
oh. If you were a color, what would you be?
orange.
Most overrated and underrated. I'm gonna give you 5 genres, and you have to rate them from top to bottom. Okay, top being the highest, bottom being well bottom. Are you ready? Your dance
Yes.
styles are Kathak, Garba, Bhangra, Bollywood, and dancehall. I tried to make this very specific for you. Are you ready?
No, I can't.
Let's start with the ball. Let's start with
Cut
the
the
ball.
line. Cut the line.
Come on, let's start with the ball. This is no disrespect, but it has to be done. It has to be done. Who's at the bottom? What style is at the bottom? Listen, you should be grateful. I didn't do
I
dances.
cannot do it.
Come on, just give me a
No.
style at the bottom. Just give me a
No.
style. It just means
So this is not in terms of no.
come on.
In terms,
Come on.
I can't.
You have to. Gun to your head, man.
It's in terms of my favorites, not in terms of I can justify everything now. It's not gonna work.
It's the rapid fire round for crying out loud.
I can't. You put go by dance or you just can't. I can't. I'm sorry.
Sip
I
your
shall.
chai.
I'm gonna down my flipping chives.
All right, best and worst advice given and taken.
Okay, so the best Kathak is not for you. You is the best advice. No, that leads into the best advice is dance for your body.
Ah,
Yeah, dance on your
Yeah.
body. His or hers.
yeah.
Yeah. And then the worst advice, do it because they will like it. Does that
Yes,
make
they will.
sense? Do it because that will work for them. Well, I don't give bad advice. To be honest, I don't really give advice. Like I try not to give advice. I'm that person.
Yeah.
My friends always like, I'm like no. Like I'll say something like no, but no. Like I'll just backtrack everything because you don't know life, man. We don't know. I don't know the answers.
Very true. Very, very true. Okay, cool. Best and worst project you have ever worked on. I'm gonna try and get you in a little bit of trouble because I have to. And I'm so sorry. I just have to.
I shall get my tie.
Okay.
Yes.
Best and worst person you've ever worked with.
Just come on now, like no. You are the best.
I
And the
can
worst.
be the worst. I can
You can
be
be
the
both.
worst.
I'm giving you everything.
Who's the No, but you have Urja. You've worked with Urja. Freaking Urja.
She's great. Yeah, she's amazing.
Yeah. So wouldn't she be in the best? You could say one of the best.
But like every person has moments of being their best, like sometimes I learn amazing things from everyone.
Do you know there's a popular song in Devdas called Margala, which I would like to be right now because of all of these answers. The best and piece of dance you have ever watched.
Well, the best / best at the time of perception. The best was and this is what made me want to do Kathak actually properly. Was it was Dance Plus, and there was a girl called Shomita, I think, and she did this piece. She did the foreign. There was a duet, but she did a solo piece, and I remember being like, "Oh my gosh, I want to be her." Worst, I've seen many bad. No. Madala.
That's one of the worst choreographies for you? Wow.
No, as in the reference to the
Wow. Ladies and gentlemen who do not identify as such as well, that is what Priyanka
rewind.
was.
He's taking it out of context. Don't trust people, don't take it out of context.
Best, I think like this you should answer, because I've taught many. Best and worst choreography you have ever taught.
I really like, I did what song was that? No, Naughty Boy did a song.
Oh, the contemporary version that Uh,
I can't remember the name. It was this nice little slow piece, but that one I really enjoyed that piece. The worst, gosh, there's many. There's many.
Care to mention any?
I'm trying to remember the names of. I did a Ramta Jogi once, and I just really didn't like my Ramta Jogi, and I was like, it was such a good track, but I felt like I let it down, so that was sad times for me.
I am so sorry to interrupt again, but we were just doing the section which is called Sip a Chai and Play with Rai. And in the game sections of the show, there are some segments which are visuals, so it would not have made sense on podcast form. So if you would like to watch any of the visuals or the video, simply go to YouTube and just type in Chai with Rai to find the relevant episode. Also, I will link everything in the bio or the description below. But without further ado, let's get back to the end of the show.
Priyanka, what word, and I love your kaftan situation, by the way. I'm really here
Thank
for
you.
it. What words of wisdom would you give to your mirror self today? If you looked in the mirror today, what words of wisdom would you give to yourself?
Oh my gosh, today I would say breathe. Just 10, not even 5 minutes. 10 seconds, breathe. Stop and breathe. Yes. It's important to breathe when you die. Yeah.
Peaks and valleys is a question I ask every guest, which is a peak is a high point of your personal or professional life. You don't need to go into detail, but you can always just give me a retrospective. What was it? What lesson you learned from it? A valley is a low point of your personal or professional life. Again, you don't need to go into the detail. You can give me a year or context. What was it and what lesson you learned from it? So go.
Both the peak and the valley happened in this last 8 months. Because it's been a madness, right? So the valley was me legit stopping all of this stuff, saying, no, I'm done. It's too hard. It doesn't make sense. It's not working. All of those things on every single level, community arts, teach, all of it done. And that literally, I've never, when you had heartbreak, it felt like heartbreak. Like legit, I had to really convince my life. It was horrible. So that was a valley, as in the low thing. And then the peak.
What did you learn from that, though?
Again, with any hardship, it teaches resilience, right? You either fail, you don't fail, you never fail. You either stop or you become stronger. And the way that I got out of that was I went into it. Like I really was like practicalities. Like I was making practical moves to cut everything in. And that was breaking, that was breaking me. It was deep. And that went on for months. And then my teacher said something and it just hit me at the right time, in the right way, and it just woke me up. And ever since then, it was.
Did she say Kathak is not for you? You're for Kathak.
She didn't. She could have. It would have worked. It would have worked. But she didn't. No, she didn't. What she said. Basically, she shouted. She's like, "Why does it take you so long to decide what you want to do?" Basically saying, you know what you want to do. And then she went into, she then said, don't let the outside storm, don't let the storm outside settle in your soul. And that's what I'd done. I let all this noise that was going on and all the crap and all the, oh my God, I'm not doing this. And it came inside and I accepted it. And I said, all right, shit, cool, I'm changing. But if I didn't let it go into me, if I stood out of it, and when you're at home and you're isolated, you let those things come in. When you're not with people outside of the home, friends or whatever, that let you lift it out of you. So it went inside me and then I made all these crazy decisions. Then it just woke me up. I said, I know what I want to do. I've been doing it. And now I just need to focus down even harder, work even harder. And then that's when I started applying to everything and everyone. Yeah, and then the peak was obviously applying to 10,000 places and also not getting all of them. But having that focus and then this recent amazing shift that's been happening, I think that's because of all the application, the dedication and the realignment, the refocus on this is what I want to do. This is my bound. This is this. I know what I wanted to do. I don't need to start doing another career in banking or this kind of thing. I know what I want to do, work harder at it, right? Build on it. And then obviously the peaks has been getting new roles and getting new things and being recognized and stuff like that. It's been nice.
What's your favorite part of the job? What does the future hold? And sometimes for artists, it's like, when I get this, I will feel complete, like that give. And I always say, it's like, what is the give for the job? Is it like when we'll get a featured role in a movie, or is it like when we've cured the world through the arts and we're considered, or when we're accepted for who we are? So like what? Okay,
I'm going to start with the future thing because I've got it in my head.
All right.
The future thing for me is like, I can't wait for the day it will happen. The day when there's another one that's coming to my head. There's many. So the first one that came was that I really want to set up a program, like a dance and well-being program that can be given to different community spaces, but is backed by like evidence and science or just experiences, like valid stuff that you can go to and be like, listen, this is a program that works for this reason, for that reason, for this group, for that group, and so it becomes more of a valid way to give. Otherwise, you're just kind of, as freelancers, we're here, there, everywhere. Do this, we can do that, we can do that. I want a set thing, a legit thing that can be given to spaces, so that dance becomes a tool for well-being for everybody. And then I'd love to take it internationally. I'd love to take it to India, to the villages, to everywhere. I'd love to take it everywhere. My favorite part of the job is just having dance, like having it as the thing. It's not like it's not specific. It's just like the thing is the dance, right? So the thing, just having like, if I'm teaching, I'm preparing, so I'm creating. I've got the music on, I'm dancing. I get to do that. Like that's a blessing to know that my preparation time is dancing around. Not dancing, I was rude. Is dancing is a beautiful thing. You know, the fact that my work is training on a, you know, like it just that's the favorite part of it, is that these opportunities, these work opportunities, give me space and time to dance and not feel bad about it.
Well, everyone, that brings us to an end, and I hope you enjoyed that. I want to say a massive thank you to the guest for their time. Again, to mention, Chai with Rai is a pre-recorded live show, so to watch any of the videos from the show, simply go to YouTube and type in Chai with Rai to find the relevant episode. All of the information about the guest, myself, and the show will be listed in the bio. Make sure to follow, share, comment, and subscribe. Show us all some love, because isn't that what we want at the end of the day, some love? Your support really helps the show and the message of it grow, and the people that are on here. Thank you again, and as I always say, breathe in, breathe out. Now must go, which means now I must go. I own that is copyrighted, and I will sue. Joking. Have a great one, and stay curious. Till next time.